駆け抜け青春スパーキング。はい、ゆう。
I mean, like, it sort of depends on where they go with this topic, I guess. Where, you know, they can either go down the route of Nagiko's dad doesn't like that she's more well known for surfing and skating, or they're going to go down the route of they're leaning more towards that guy who took a video of her skating without her permission. Alright, and I don't know how the second one is going to progress. Alright, because at least with the first one, all of the characters that have been introduced, all of the characters in that scenario have already been introduced. Right? And I mean, like, I guess the guy who took the video of Nagiko was also mentioned, but like, you know, we got nothing. And surely they are going to go the more lighthearted direction. Right? I don't know. Nagiko scooped up a spoonful of ice cream and helped the utensil out to me. Munch. Brain freeze.
ごめん。一気に口に入れすぎちゃった？
No, I'm fine. Alright, it's my turn next. I scooped up an optimal amount to avoid giving her a brain freeze and held out the spoon to her. Nagiko, say,
ちょっと待って、ユウ。私がされるの恥ずかしい。
Nagiko's cheeks tinged red with the spoon in front of her. You just did it to me, though.
それはそれよ。私がユウにするのはいいんだけど、されるのは年上としてはここ人目がある場所だし。
You get shy in the strangest ways. Talk about a double standard. Can't believe it.
だって仕方ないじゃない。それに、どちらかといえば、私、ユウを甘やかしたいというか、お世話をする方が好きだから。
Really? Nagiko bashfully gazed up at me, and I was overwhelmed with the desire to hug her right then and there. Whoa, cold.
アイスが溶けちゃったのね。
Oh, my fingers are all sticky. I was still holding the spoon out to her. The ice cream had melted and dribbled onto my fingers.
もう仕方ないんだから。
Here's the thing, though. Here's the problem, Nagiko. You say you're embarrassed because you're the older one and you're out in public, but keep in mind, you're doing this at Yu's workplace. So who do you think is gonna get teased more for this? You, where no one is around who knows you, or you? You, first you was Nagiko, second you is you, never mind. Or you, who works here and is friendly with all of the staff. I mean, who would have guessed, but you know, there are situations, and especially the manager. So like, just take the fucking ice cream, all right? What do you have to be embarrassed about?
ちょっとじっとしてて。
Nagiko softly propped my hand up with her own. Okay, well, that's definitely more embarrassing than just eating it from the spoon. Hey, Nagiko, what are you doing?
舐めとってるだけだけど、せっかくのアイスもったいないし。
She'd caught me off guard. And after she had turned down going, ah, for me. Isn't this way more embarrassing than having me feed you? Yeah, see? Even he knows.
ん
She doesn't.
こっちの方かって。あ、
It seemed to have clicked. She released my hand in a fluster and hung her head.
ねえ、店長。
What did I fucking say?
あの席だけ甘酸っぱさが炸裂してますね。
せっかくデートでうちのお店を利用してくれたんだから、見て見ぬふりをするのがいい店員ってものだよ。
分かってます。頑張れ党のチーフ。陰ながら応援してます。
They totally saw us.
恥ずかしすぎる。
Yeah, and whose fault is that, Miss? Too embarrassed to eat from the spoon, but not embarrassed enough to lick his hand. Lick the ice cream off his hand. Nagiko. I think I'm cooled off enough now. Why don't we head out?
そうね。
I honestly couldn't take another second of this.
今度はカップルメニューを安く提供するよ、遠野くん。
またのご来店をお待ちしてます。
We left the restaurant and walked through the shopping district with our arms linked.
まだ顔が熱い。ねえ、ユウ。私の顔赤くなってない？
Maybe just a little. You know, just about as red as your dress. So, you know, barely, you're barely blushing. Actually, why did you start licking my fingers like that?
だって、つい衝動的にやっちゃったんだもん。
Because she a freak like that. That's the real reason. No, not really. It made me happy nonetheless. If anything, I'd like her to do it some more. Yeah, but like, you know, not in public. But listen, Nagiko, you're the type to get swept up in the moment, right?
そうだったみたい。
That seems to be the case with all the girls.
自分では全く自覚はなかったんだけど、こういうのを恋は盲目っていうのかしらね。
It makes sense why they were calling us lovebirds.
本当にね。
Perhaps we had dropped our guard too much now that we were intimate. We needed to be more mindful of our surroundings.
それでユウ、これからどこへ連れて行ってくれるの？
I hadn't given it any real thought, but let me think. We were out on a long-awaited date. I wanted to go somewhere we could enjoy ourselves together.
あら？そこにいるのはもしかして。
Oh no. Someone abruptly called out to us. This wasn't my imagination, right?
もしかして私たちですか？
That woman was looking at us. Well, probably looking at Nagiko more than you. Or more specifically, she was staring at Nagiko. May I ask who you are? She's a fan. She didn't seem like a weirdo at first glance.
ごめんなさいね。いきなり声をかけられても困りますよね。
ほう。
実は私、こういうものでして。
He quickly held out a business card. Oh. I see. Would your first interaction with someone who's seen those videos really be from what would you be? A talent agency? I don't know specifically.
これって
Don't tell me. The card utilized the same name as the major surfing magazine. Oh. So, not talent agency, just surfing photographer. Where are we going with this?
サマータイムズ社の五十嵐さん？サーパラの出版元？
Wait. She said Surf Para.
サーパラの出版
Yes. So then it would. You says the top one. The sponsor of the Beach Festival surfing competition. Wait. Huh? We turned to each other after speaking up in unison. Surf Para? As in that surfing listings magazine?
ええ、私が購読してるあのサーパラだけど、スポンサーってどういうこと？
Her name was on the list of sponsors for the tournament the other day. She was also the one who shared the video from the tournament Hijiri had shown me before. Oh, I see. So, that's why. That explained how the magazine had info about local tournaments, and the reason why footage from the tournament had been uploaded online. I could more or less surmise the pretext behind those.
その様子だと、我が社のことはご存知のようね。
はい、サーパラは迷子購読してます。
ありがとう。読者にそう言ってもらえるのはすごく嬉しいわ。
But does someone from Surf Para want from... but what does what does someone from Surf Para want from us?
カイドウナギコさんだったよね。
はい、そうですけど、どうして私の名前を？
先日のサーフィン大会で特別賞を受賞してたからね。覚えてるに決まってるでしょ。でも、あれは惜しかったね。最後の最後にワイプアウトしなければ、確実に5位には入れたと思うわ。
Yeah. No shit? What? Obviously. What? Okay, yep.
ありがとうございます。サーパラの人にそう言ってもらえて嬉しいです。
それに、カイドウさんは今、ネットでとても有名だからね。
Nagiko tilted her head curiously at Igarashi's comment. I hadn't had a chance to tell Nagiko about the videos yet, after all. You're a hot topic online right now. They're calling you a super schoolgirl. It's a bit of a weird name, but, you know, not really my decision to come up with the name. And then there's the incredible, gorgeous surfer as well.
何それ？
Except that I forgot to include the ly in incredible. Incredibly. Remember how Hijiri uploaded the video of you online a while back? I'm not sure who recorded you after that, but someone uploaded a video from when you skateboarded for those kids in the park too.
我が社でも先日の大会の様子を動画配信してるのよ。
Okay, well that doesn't really tell us who recorded Nagiko skating.
5位までの入賞者と特別賞の人の分までだけど。
そうだったんだ。
Nagiko replied shyly when she was presented with this information. You approached us because Nagiko is internet famous?
もちろん、それもあるわ。
Part of it. Meaning there's more?
実は、カイドウさんとお話ししたいと思っていたのよ。
Okay, no. Now I get it. Okay, I get it now. So, the conflict isn't from Nagiko getting famous for her, getting recognized for her surfing videos, and thus being more known for surfing/skating than martial arts. It's because she's being scouted by Surf Para, and she will have to choose between whether she wants to pursue her surfing through this method, through this path, I guess, or whether she sticks to keeping surfing as a hobby and, you know, staying the air of the Aikido dojo. And I mean, she's gonna pick the latter, but that's what the conflict is gonna be, right? I couldn't really. I was grasping at straws before, but this is making it more clearer. I mean, it's not gonna be exactly how I said it, but I can picture what the conflict is going to be.
お話ですか？
現在人気急上昇中の美人すぎるサーファー。先日の大会を見る限り技術も悪くない。うちとしては声をかけないわけにはいかないでしょ。単刀直入に言うわね。カイドウさん、プロサーファーになる気ない？
Yeah, Nagiko is given the opportunity to become a pro surfer, which will conflict with her dad's desire to make her the successor of the Kaido Aikido dojo. I mean, that's not what it's called, but yeah.
学園卒業後、プロサーファー養成のスクールへ。
Because before the amateur tournament, there wasn't really a way for her to become pro. There wasn't really a risk of Nagiko becoming pro or given the opportunity to become pro because this place is a small town thing, right? And that's why her dad was allowing her to continue surfing as long as it stayed a hobby, right? And now
スクールを出た後、全国各地で行われるトライアルへの旅費や参加費の援助、すべて我が社でバックアップするわ。
そんなに？
wow.
私がプロ？
Nagiko seemed to feel the same as I did. The scale of what she'd been offered left her speechless.
ただし、ただで援助ってわけにはいかないのよ。今後、うちの雑誌であなたの情報を独占的に掲載させてもらう。それから専属のスポンサー契約も結ぶことになるわ。
Let me think. I'm trying to rack my head around how the conflict is going to be resolved, right? Because like you go the simplest method of Nagiko is like, thanks for the offer, you know, at the end of the route. But you know, I want to stay in. Why am I blanking on Kazami? I want to stay in Kazami City, right? Continue with my Aikido stuff and then and do surfing and skating on the side, right? But then there's like another secret resolution where it's like, well, I'm not saying that you couldn't expand into also covering martial arts, right? In not surf para, right? That's fucking it's literally the magazine is literally named specifically for surfing, but you could do a different magazine for martial arts. And I mean, like, the likelihood of that is very little. But I can't stop thinking about that being a potential resolution to the conflict.
スポンサー契約？
あなたは我が社の所属選手として各大会に出場することになるのよ。どうかしら？
はあ。でも、
Nagiko glanced over at me, seeming unsure of what to do. This had all happened so suddenly that she did not seem able to fully make sense of it. Make sense of it. Does she have to give you an answer right away?
まさか養成スクールやプロ云々は学園卒業してからの話よ。あなたの将来に関わることだから。
Like, I mean, there is another way to resolve it, and it's like she could do both, which is somehow even less likely than the have Igarashi do a fucking martial arts magazine or whatever, right?
ゆっくりと考えて答えが出たら連絡してね。
ありがとうございます。少し考えさせてください。
Nagiko gripped tightly onto my Nagiko gripped tightly onto my arm, almost as if displaying the uncertainty deep in her heart.
いらっしゃいませ、カイドウ先輩。
To our mutual surprise, I guess, Ritsu welcomed us with a smile when we made it to my place.
お邪魔します。こんな時間に悪いわね。
いえ、気にしないでください。どうせお兄ちゃんが無理を言って連れてきたんでしょうし。
Rude. I haven't forced her into anything.
本当に？エッチなことしようとか考えてない？
Well, I was about to make a joke that someone else forced her into doing something, but then you went immediately into dirty stuff, so I can't really make that joke anymore. There's no way I would when I know you're here. What did she take me for?
つまり、私がいなければしちゃうつもりだった。
Well, you know, you play it by ear. Ritsu.
冗談だよ。お兄ちゃんとカイドウ先輩の仲がいいから、ちょっとからかっただけ。
You're something else. I don't know. This is Ritsu's way of getting back at you and Nagiko for their extreme levels of PDA in the club room. Could she seriously not see how embarrassed Nagiko was right now? I'd sooner avoid a misunderstanding.
そうそう、お兄ちゃんにお話があったんだ。あさって、女子会でお泊まり会をしようって響ちゃんに誘われてるの。
Yeah?
行ってきてもいいかな？
I don't mind. Make sure you don't cause her too much trouble. Like how Nagiko and I will definitely not cause any trouble while you're away. You know, we'll spend most of our time in my room. You know, we'll barely be in the living room. I mean, like, unless Nagiko wants to. I mean, we're not going to be doing anything dirty when you're gone. All right, not like last time. I didn't say that.
兄じゃあるまいし、そんなことしないよ。
She had a point. I wanted to argue the whole she wasn't me part, but Ritsu really was a good girl.
お兄ちゃんは参加できないから、カイドウ先輩も不参加ですよね。
私は何も考えてないんだけど。
She replied, only to turn toward me. Ritsu wasn't being as suggestive as she had been earlier, but I assume Nagiko must have been picturing something in the same vein. Hey, Ritsu, you're making things awkward for her.
お兄ちゃんのためを思ってるんだよ。とにかく、あさっては私が泊まりでいないって覚えておいて。
Got it. Honestly, having such an oddly considerate little sister came with its own share of problems. Anyway, Nagiko, let's go to my room. Where we will do nothing dirty, alright?
カイドウ先輩、どうぞごゆっくり。
Ritsu saw us off from the living room with a knowing smirk.
お邪魔します。
Yeah, come on in. Don't be shy. This isn't your first time here, you know. Well, yeah, you know, but the last time she was here, you kinda did stuff. You don't need to be so nervous.
それはわかってるけど、ユウの部屋に来たのってあの日以来だから、ついいろいろ思い出しちゃって。
Ah, she certainly had a point. That night, here in this bed, we...
ユウ、わざわざ思い出さなくていいから。
Thank God there was no flashback. Oh, God damn it. I was trying to think up a way to segue into shilling my Patreon. I lost my train of thought. But Oh, well, I lost what I was about to say. You're the one who brought it up, though.
そうだけど、落ち着かなくなっちゃうじゃない。ユウに相談したいから落ち着ける場所に来たのに。
Sorry. I questioned going back to the restaurant, so I invited her over here. Creating a weird atmosphere would be putting the cart before the horse. I assume you wanted to talk about what happened earlier? About that woman from the magazine we ran into downtown. And about the sponsorship contract. It really came out of left field, huh? Who would have thought she was going to offer you a sponsorship contract?
うん。今もまだ信じられないかも。夢じゃないよね。
Yeah, it's not a dream. So, what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do about it? Are you gonna sign with them and go pro?
わかんない。
See if it was like, see if it was any other girl that was this good at surfing, you could encourage it. But because Nagiko's got that Aikido stuff, you know, the stuff that I wish the route was got into more. But, you know.
なんか話が急すぎて全然理解が追いついてないし、スーパー女子学生なんて呼ばれてる実感なんてないし、それにさ、私ずっと家の道場を継ぐと思ってたから。
Ah. She had a point. That had always been an option for her. Are you still planning to take over the dojo?
それはもちろん。合気道は好きだし、道場の門下生たちも大事だし、ずっとそう思ってたこともあって、それ以外は考えられなかったくらいだもの。
I see. Her feelings on the matter hadn't wavered by the sounds of it. What do you think about going pro then?
なりたいかなりたくないかで言えば、なりたい。私もあの大会に来ていたプロの人みたいにすごい技を決めたい。いろんな人に私の技を見てもらいたい。だけど。
Nagiko stammered. Up till now, Nagiko had a clear picture of what her future would look like. That was no longer the case now that she'd been offered to take a different path.
ねえ、ユウ。私はどうしたらいいと思う？
That's difficult for me to answer. What should I say in this situation? If I were to pick one way or the other, it seemed likely that Nagiko would have regrets in either outcome. Can I not be greedy and say both?
ちょっと現実的じゃないかも。スクールに行くって言ってたけど、ここら辺にはないはずだし、トライアルの試合に出まくるってなったら、多分日本だけじゃなくて世界中飛び回ることになると思う。
Traveling overseas, huh?
少なくとも合気道どころじゃなくなるんじゃないかな。
But does it have to be that way?
それはまあ、私もそこまで詳しいわけじゃないし、さっきのだって想像でしかないし。
Why don't you try asking for more information? Maybe you'll be able to reach out some sort of compromise.
そうかな。
I didn't think it was entirely out of the realm of possibility. Well, even if you do choose one or the other, I'll support you the best as I can, if this is what you want to do.
ありがとう、ユウ。
You know, unfortunately, if you were to pick surfing over Aikido, it kind of put a hamper on the relationship, considering I don't think you was planning on moving out or ever leaving Kazumi City. So, you know, kind of the reason why I'm the reason why I'm dead set on Nagiko staying with Aikido instead of going overseas to surf. Or, fourth option that I just thought of, surfing school combined with the Aikido. Right? Because Nagiko is going to inherit the Aikido dojo, right? So why wouldn't it be possible for Nagiko to implement surfing into, well, you can make surfing separate, or you can incorporate it as part of training. Because keep in mind, the whole reason why Nagiko is so damn good at surfing is because of Aikido, right? Because it all started with the skate surfer, which translates well not only into Aikido but also to surfing. So like there's already that connection. So like why wouldn't you be able to do that? On that note, enough of the serious talk. This was a rare occasion with Nagiko here in my room. It would be a shame if we only focused on serious conversation. Nagiko, it's time to flirt, brother. You don't need to announce it. It's a natural thing that happens. Like every fucking time you flirt with each other in public. I don't think you actively decided to do it.
イチャイチャって
We're alone now, after all. No one is around to tease us, no matter how much we flirt. Except for the fact that I can definitely picture Ritsu on the other side of the door, listening in on them. It's not like this isn't the first time it's happened. It's just, you know... Did it? Wait. No. It isn't the first time it happened. I was trying to remember. I was trying to remember, like, did Ritsu do this to the other girls, right? Did she do this to Riri? No, she did this to Nagiko. The first time you and Nagiko were in his room, when she was showing the surfing videos, right? And that's why Ritsu knew about Nagiko's surfing thing. We could be as sappy and perverted as we want. So, Nagiko. So, now that Ritsu... Here's the thing. She was already curious enough to listen in on them when she speculated that there was something between them. Now that she knows that they're not only dating, but, you know, they've done things in this very room. Like, maybe she's less curious, you know? Maybe let's give Ritsu the benefit of the doubt, right? Maybe she's less curious about what Nagiko and you are gonna do in this room. Especially if Ritsu thinks there's a possibility that they're gonna do things that little sister probably shouldn't be listening in on. I approached the visibly bewildered Nagiko. Would you give me a lap pillow?
エッチなことはダメってあれ膝枕
Nagiko was about to turn me down until she'd heard what I said and stared blankly at me. I'd like to try it at least once. That is, of course, assuming you're not opposed.
そっか膝枕ねもちろんいいに決まってるじゃない
In that case, I'd very much want you to. I couldn't miss the opportunity to tease her when she laughed in an attempt to downplay the situation. Did you assume something else entirely? I seem to recall you saying nothing pervy. Nagiko, what in the world were you imagining? You have been sneaking glances over at my bed since you got here.
それ以上言わなくていいから
Whoa. She grabbed firmly onto my head. Nagiko pulled me inward and practically shoved my face into her thighs. Oh, damn. I'm not making those sound effects. For as many sports as she's played, her thighs were sure were soft. Well, you know, she's trained legs a lot. My face was buried into her lap, and she continued pushing down on my head from above. I just so happened to be positioned in a way that shoved my nose between the crevice of her thighs. It was a better fit than I imagined, and made it difficult to breathe.
ちょっと、口をもごもごしないで。
More sound effects. Guh. Yeah, that one. I was having trouble breathing and tapped on Nageko's legs. But that only served to tickle her, prompting Nageko to push down on my head even harder.
こら、そこ、上に移動しちゃ。もう、おとなしくしてなさい。
See, I'll make those sound effects. If that's how you feel, go a little easier on me. Now that I was free, I rolled over and looked up at the ceiling. It felt like I had finally reached a place where I was meant to relax. Her thighs felt very comfortable against the back of my head.
手加減してほしければ、余計なことを言わなければいいのよ。
Are you telling me that there's no CG of her lap? This is sacrilegious. Oh well, I guess it would be a POV of you lying on her lap, so he'd be looking up. So you'd get more underboob than lap, than thigh.
そしたらいくらでも膝枕くらいしてあげるのに。
It's not like I couldn't help that. Anyone would feel compelled to tease you when you react that way. This was all Nageko's fault for being cute.
あれはユウが紛らわしいから。もうエッチなことばっかり考えて。
I should say that about you. No, never mind. Just as she was about to grab my head again, I quickly changed topic. I didn't want to part with the sensation. I finally got to savor against the back of my head.
うん、素直でよろしい。
You know what would be more savoring? If my eyes were being savored as well. With a CG.
その、エッチのことは、二人きりの時にね。近くにリツがいるし、今日は絶対にダメなんだから。
Yeah, I get it. Nageko's face darkened, and her gaze shifted elsewhere. I nearly grinned from how cute she was. The whole time I had her give me this lap pillow. We enjoyed a flirty conversation. It would have been... Really?
駆け抜け青春スパーキング。
We enjoyed a flirty conversation that you will not get to hear.
海だー。さあ、今日も青春部の活動を頑張るわよ。
とは言っても、今日は全員集合じゃないっすけどね。鹿島も神楽坂も家の用事じゃ仕方ないわ。
Oh, who would have guessed that Shinji wouldn't be here? Riri was a surprise. It wasn't like every club member would always be free. Days like this were bound to happen. You say this like Shinji showed up more than like a few times.
それで、今日はみんなでサーフィンってことでいいのよね。
そうね。私とひじりさんは無理しない程度に遊んでるわ。だからナギは思いっきりやっちゃって。
うん、ありがとう。
She had been stressing out about the sponsorship offer. I was sure riding the waves would give her the change of pace she needed to help clear her head.
それと、ユウはナギのフォローね。あんたが私たちの方に来ると、ナギが集中できなさそうだし。
そんなことないわよ。いやー、そんなことあると思うっすよ。最近のカイドウ先輩は嫉妬の波動に目覚めてる感じがするっす。
Get it? Waves of jealousy?
ってことで、私はあっちでやってるから、二人で思う存分イチャついてなさい。
With that said, Hibiki grabbed her board and ran off into the distance.
もう、響きは。あれでいて、内心は寂しいんじゃないっすかね。幼馴染といとこを同時に取られたようなものっすし。
That's one way to think about it. Was it the same for Ritsu? Was it the same for Ritsu too? Maybe I should pay a little more attention to her when I was at home.
あれってもしかしてあれじゃない？
マジで謎のスーパー女子学生。
We could hear some hushed voices. Nagiko turned when the onlookers started to cheer.
やっぱりそうだって間違いないよ。
そうやばすぎ。マジで美人すぎるんだけど。ねえねえ、動画見たよ。私めちゃくちゃファンなの。握手して。
それくらいならいいですけど。
See, like, this being the first encounter would have made more sense, you know? Not the scouting agent, not the scouting person. What? Yeah.
私も。
The female surfers both wanted the handshake from Nagiko. Despite her embarrassment, Nagiko reciprocated the gesture.
まあこうなるっすよね。
What do you mean?
例の動画めちゃくちゃバズってるんす。もちろん自分の上げたやつの天才は消させたっすけどね。他の動画はめちゃくちゃすごい再生数っすよ。
For real.
なんか照れるわね。
After chatting for a while, Nagiko headed back over to us. You don't exactly look unhappy about it.
そりゃあね、応援されたり褒められるのは純粋に嬉しいもの。まあいきなり声をかけられて驚いたけど、
それだけ動画が広まってるってことっすね。
つまりきっかけは聖ってこと？
いや自分のはまだまだ弱いっすよ。
Yeah, if you want to get to that level, Shiori's probably closer to... How do I say this? If anyone could help you get as viral as you are now in your friend group, it'd probably be Shiori. Sure, let's go with that.
一番の火付けは大会じゃないっすかね。
She had a point, given the timing at which Nagiko had gone viral.
でも最初はやっぱりあんたじゃない。動画をアップするって聞いた時はどうかと思ったけど、一応お礼を言っておく。
そんなに褒められると恐縮っす。
さーて、それじゃあ私も波に乗ってこようかな。
Listen, look, all I'm saying is, as long as Nagiko isn't influenced by the amount of people who recognize her through the surfing videos in her decision whether she should stay in Hazumi City to become the heir of the Aikido dojo or to become a pro surfer, it's all good.
今ならすごい技も決められる気がするわ。
Nagiko picked up her board with a dazzling smile. She was using a board she was most familiar with, a shortboard.
じゃあちょっと行ってくる。
With all of the surfers, including the ladies from earlier, cheering her on, Nagiko dove into the ocean.
もう最高。
Hey, Nagiko, don't latch onto me without warning. Considering she was still wet, I could feel her cling onto me like crazy. Well, never mind. I wasn't going to think it. I wasn't going to say anything, but Nagiko didn't seem the least bit concerned.
だってさ、めちゃくちゃ調子いいんだよ。こんなの初めてかも。今までできなかった技もバンバン決まるし、無理かもってタイミングでもなんとかなるし。
Yeah, she got a high from all the people cheering her on. I don't know. I mean, like, here's the thing. When I am concerned, when I bring up my concern over the fact that she might get influenced by how popular she is. It's not. I'm not critiquing the writing, right? It's very common, all right? I'm just, you know.
最
For. At this time, she pressed her face into my chest. Yeah, okay, no. Not to mention rubbing it into me affectionately. Okay, I get it. So give me some space. It's a bit much when we're out in public.
ごめん。
It'd be even more. It'd be a little much more. What if she was in a bikini? Nagiko was somewhat famous now. What's more, if we were on a beach with plenty of surfers, that would naturally bring a lot of attention to us. You are right, though. You seemed like you were in perfect form. I bet it's exhilarating to land so many tricks.
そうなのよ。
Now, is it more exhilarating because of the onlookers, or is it exhilarating only because you were able to land those tricks? Her answer to that question will determine how this route will go. Oh, yeah.
私って才能あるのかな？思ったより時間かけずにプロになれるかも。そしたら道場を継ぐのに影響ないかもしれないし。
She pulled back, but her arm was still laced around mine, and she appeared to be in good spirits.
そういえば響たちはどうしたの？姿が見えないけど。
Those two went home without us. It looked like you were having a lot of fun out there. They said they'd leave without bothering you.
そうなんだ。悪いことしたかも。
Nah, I can't imagine either of them feeling that way about it. Especially considering they even teased me while they left. Wouldn't you rather have some alone time together? Alone time tonight? Well, so they joked. Well, it's about time we took off too.
そうね。ねえ、ユウ。
What's up?
あの話だけどさ、電話してもう少し詳しく聞いてみることにする。
I see. All this talk about going pro. It certainly sounded like she was going to go for it. I'll respect your decision. And I'll support you no matter what.
うん。ありがとう。
Hang on. First, before you make the call, I can guarantee Papa Kaido does not know anything about this. I mean, he might know that you're getting popular through surfing, but he definitely doesn't know about the fact that you were scouted by a surfing agency. I still don't know what name to give them, but that seems the most appropriate out of the 3. 4? 5.
ユウ、大好き。
She whispered her love into my ear, and she pressed a soft kiss against my cheek.
駆け抜け青春スパーキング。
Morning.
おはようお兄ちゃん。朝ごはんは用意できてるからね。
I don't know. Depending on how they write this conflict with Nagiko and her dad, this could be one of my favorites, or shit. I cannot see this being mediocre, right? Because the way it's going, right, of Nagiko wanting to go pro, and obviously her dad her dad wouldn't approve of that fact. I can't see this being a mediocre route. You know? And thanks as always, Ritsu.
どういたしまして。
I don't know. Am I saying it Am I saying the right words to articulate in the simplest way that there is no in-between for this route anymore? Oh, are you going out somewhere? I noticed that Ritsu was getting ready for an outing with a decent amount of luggage that.
前も言ったと思うけど、今日は女子会があるから。
Oh, that was today? It had completely slipped my mind.
もしもの時のヘルプも準備しておいたけど、寂しくなったら電話してもいいよ。私が慰めてあげる。
Oh, you dumb. Don't make fun of your brother.
じゃあ行ってくるね。
Yeah, say hi to everyone for me.
はーい。
Ritsu cheerfully headed out. Now then, I'd better hurry up and get things ready on my end too. I had plans of my own today. Thanks for the meal. I finished the meal Ritsu had prepared for me and started to get ready to leave as well.
カイドウさん、こっちよ。
お待たせしてすみません。それと、呼び出すような真似もしてしまって。
そんなこと全然気にしなくていいのよ。それにこっちもカイドウさんにお願いしたいことがあったから。
お願いですか？
ええ。
That was when the publisher Igarashi turned toward me. Come to think of it, I guess I hadn't introduced myself. I'm her underclassman. My name is Tono. I have a close personal relationship with her, so...
ああ、なるほどなるほど。
You don't have to... You can just say you're dating.
青春だね。
It's one thing for the characters close to the main it's one thing for the side characters who are close to the main characters to reference youth, but it's an entirely different thing when a complete fucking stranger that doesn't even have a fucking sprite and is only exclusive to a single route says it, mentions it. The youth virus has spread to Igarashi.
彼女さんのことが気になってついてきたってところかな。
Well, something like that. I'm sorry. This must make it seem like I don't trust you.
いえいえ、いいのよ。優しい彼氏さんでいいわね。
はい。
それじゃあ喫茶店にでも行きましょう。
See, here's the other thing, right? If she does go pro, then she's going to have to move out of Kazumi City. If this was any other girl, there wouldn't be a problem, right? Because you would probably have the opportunity to move to the different city with them. But because Kaido's a year older than you, she graduates a year before him. So then they'd have to stay long distance for a year because she'd fuck off to wherever the surfing school is, right? So that would also would pose another dilemma and another interesting dilemma if they're sticking with this route. Get it?
そこで詳しい話とこっちからのお願いを説明するわね。
On that note, Akiko and I followed after her to hear her out. Then, after we had heard the general overview, we migrated to the beach.
お待たせしました。いつもの格好ですけど、これでよかったんですか？
ええ、もちろんよ。欲しい絵は今話題の謎のスーパー女子学生だから、むしろいつものままの方がいいわ。
そうですか。どうしよう。なんか恥ずかしいかも。ねえ、ユウ。変なところない？
No, not at all, as far as I can tell. You're the same as always. Insanely cute.
もう、調子のいいこと言って。でも、お願いが撮影させてほしいだなんてびっくりしちゃった。
Yeah. I'm sure that's just how incredible the response was to your videos. The publisher's request had gone like this. I'd like to write an article about you, entirely separate from supporting you going pro in the sponsorship contract. She apparently wanted to run a feature in the magazine on youths, Nagiko included.
私がサーパラに掲載されるのか。しかも、付属の DVD で波に乗ってる映像も入るみたいだし。
Regardless of whatever answer you give to her other proposal, this sounds like it'll make for a good experience for you.
そうね。
それじゃあカイドウさん、そろそろ撮影いいかな？
Okay, I see. So, she hasn't mentioned it to it. The reason Nagiko hasn't mentioned the potentially going pro is because of this scene specifically. Because if she mentions it before this scene, then he would have outright refused her going pro, and then they wouldn't have been able to have a photo shoot. Right?
特別なことはしなくていいんですよね。
ええ、いつも通りにやってちょうだい。こっちは自然体なところを撮りたいから。
わかりました。頑張ります。じゃあ、ユウ、ちょっと行ってくるわね。
She winked and dove into the water in high spirits. The camera woman here with us was making sure to capture her behavior. Will she be alright? She'd never been in a situation like this before. I just hoped she wasn't nervous.
それじゃあ、撮影スタート！
Nagiko paddled out into the open water. I kept my gaze fixed on her.
よし、この波！
She got far enough out into the water and waited for a wave. Once a good one rolled in, she smoothly performed a takeoff. Not a bad start, I think. As always, Nagiko looked beautiful as she rode the waves. Yeah, especially because you can see her ass. I found myself captivated by her ass. I mean her.
よっと、このままスピードを上げて。
She fell. She lost her balance in the middle of going up and down the wave. Well, guess she's a lot more nervous than she let on.
すみません。もう一度やります。
焦らなくていいからね。リラックスして。
Was this part where I should say take two? Nagiko once again paddled her way out into the open water.
今度こそ。
She had no issues going from takeoff to riding. She was moving along smoothly without getting worked up about her initial failure.
波がちょっと熱すぎるのかしら。でも、それならこれで。
She skillfully got up to speed. This ought to mean...
よし、今だ！
She calculated the timing and leapt straight into the air.
やば！
Nagiko. She full-on wiped out just before she was about to go airborne. Would she be all right after falling like that hard, like she had?
すみません。次は成功させます。
Phew. She was all right. Hang on, maybe you should pull her aside and give her a pep talk before she attempts to do a trick for a third time. It was a relief when I saw her emerge safely from underwater. But wasn't she in pretty bad form today?
こっちのことはいいから。それより怪我はない？
はい、大丈夫です。
And then Nagiko headed toward the open water for the third time. Well, I guess we're not getting any good photos this time. There in the restaurant, Nagiko let out a quiet sigh. She had clearly been shocked by this. Nagiko, are you alright? You look awfully upset to me.
たまたま調子が悪かっただけよ。全然問題ないわ。まあ、言うにはちょっと情けないところも見せちゃったけどさ。日を改めれば、またバンバン技を決められるから。
But...
大丈夫。本当に私は何ともないから。
Got it. This was what happened when the subject shifted to the photo shoot. Nagiko forced a smile.
撮影は日を改めてってことになったし、その時は一発で技を決めてみせるわ。この前の大会のエキシビジョンで見たでしょ？ボードの上でバックフリップしたやつ。
I mean, like, surely this isn't going to be the main conflict, right? Surely this is just a side conflict to the main one, which is the conflict between her and her dad, right? I want this to be a good round.
あれとかもチャレンジしてみてもいいと思うの。技といえばエアーって思ってたけど、プロって見せ方がうまいわよね。私も撮影であんな感じでバンって技を決めるの。
Yeah, you're right. I know you'll pull it off, Nagiko.
もちろんよ。エアー以外の技もいろいろあるしね。何も今日みたいに無理にエアーにこだわる必要もない。
She unexpectedly cut her comments short. Nagiko hung her head, hiding her face, and her shoulders began to tremble. Nagiko?
私、失敗した。ちっともいいところなかった。
Was she crying because she was trying to accept reality? To be honest, I wasn't entirely sure what to say in this situation. Nagiko, I'll cook dinner for you tonight. Why don't you come over to my place after this? She didn't reply. Instead, she gave me a silent nod. Oh, a slight nod. Let's head to my place then. There's a chance someone could see us if we went out to a restaurant to get over what happened. One of us could raise our voice mid-conversation, or she could break down crying. I didn't want to be out in public if either scenario were to happen. Alright, shall we? I wanted to encourage Nagiko somehow. With that sentiment in mind, Nagiko and I made our way back to my place.
ねえ、ユウ、本当に大丈夫？もう結構な時間が経ってるけど。
Just a little bit longer. I answered in front of the stove with my phone in hand. After promising to make Nagiko a homemade meal, I had to make sure it was perfect. Although I'm not much of a cook, I'll certainly try my best all the same. It'll be a meal worthy of an athlete.
その気持ちは嬉しいけど。
So what you're saying is, you're gonna put a lot of protein in the
本当に大丈夫なの？なんか変な匂いもしてるんだけど。
I followed the recipe I found on a nutrition I followed the recipe I found on a nutritional science site to a T. So it should be fine. Well, your first mistake was going to a nutritional science site for a food recipe. You're gonna put emphasis on the word food. Her comment made me feel uneasy. Uneasy though.
ちょっとどいて。味見してみる。
Hold on. I'm still in the middle of making it. She scooped up a spoonful from the pot without waiting. Nagiko stuck it in her mouth with zero hesitation.
まずい。
Really?
ほら、
Oh. I gobbled up the spoon she held out for me. In doing so, my mouth was immediately assaulted by a harsh, bitter flavor. How did that even happen? I followed the recipe exactly.
大丈夫よ、ユウ。元気出して。誰だって失敗くらいあるんだから。
Yeah. Nagiko should have been upset, but wound up comforting me instead. Maybe I had succeeded in cheering her up. I felt crazily conflicted.
ちょっとそのサイト見せて。
Here. She leaned in close, basically clinging to my arm, and peeked at my phone from my side. Oh.
何よ、急に耳元で声を上げて。
Nothing. Yeah, I just accidentally pressed auto too quickly. I accidentally raised my voice from her soft tits pressing up against my arm. What's more, she smelled incredible. Her natural pheromones mixed well with the salt water. It was making me feel jittery.
ちょっとユウ、その角度じゃ画面が見づらい。もっとこっちに向けて。
Like this. She was having trouble seeing and leaned against me more. I did my best to remain calm now that I was in this situation.
何これ、味は二の次の栄養だけのメニューじゃない。レシピ通りに作っても美味しくならないわよ。
Whoa, seriously? I could have sworn that chicken and broccoli recipe was meant to be delicious. Yeah, that was noted in small print off in the corner. How did I miss that? Is that what happened? I had been so lost in thought now that we were alone. Nutritious or not, I'll pass anything that doesn't taste good.
もう、仕方ないわね、ユウは。でも、ありがとう。さっきまではちょっと気分が落ち込んでたけど、私のために一生懸命になってるユウを見て、元気が出てきたみたい。私も手伝うから、一緒になんとかしましょう。
Yeah, maybe if you want to be good at cooking, the first step should probably be, fry your dish, at least. That's probably a very important step in cooking.
ほら、まずはこの鍋の中をどうにかしましょう。うまく味を整えられればいいんだけど。
Got it. You gotta ratatouille it up, the linguine poop soup at the start of the movie gets you need to evolve it by throwing in a bunch of random shit with your rat hands. But not your rat hands though.
とりあえず、私が何とかしてみる。ユウはその都度味見して。
Yeah, leave it to me. My plan to treat Nagiko to a home-cooked meal was quickly falling apart. I had hoped to encourage her somehow, but it felt like I was going nowhere fast.
こうやって二人で台所に立つのは新鮮かも。なんか、恋人というか、夫婦的な感じ、するし。
Nagiko's smile left such an impact on me. It was like she had my heart in a vice grip. Oh, you didn't hear that? I gripped so hard it nearly hurt. I grinned so hard it nearly hurt. Anyway, let's whip this right up and get eating.
任せて。とはいえ、どこから手をつけたものか。別の鍋に小分けにして、そっちで試してみましょうか。
Got it. Does this work?
十分。
She set out the extra pots I had given her and started seasoning them. Of course, that wasn't all. Naturally, one helping wouldn't be enough, which was what prompted Nagiko to prepare other dishes simultaneously.
ユウ、食べられないものとか苦手なものってなかったわよね。
Nope, all good here.
了解。じゃあ、手早く高タンパクな肉料理を追加するわね。
See? What did I say? An athlete's dinner needs protein. Oh. Something about this feels right. It felt so right. I'd seen Ritsu cook countless times, but this was something else entirely.
何
Oh, it's nothing.
変なの。さっきからこっちをまじまじ見てるくせに。あ、この味をちょっと試してみてくれる？はい。
She held out the contents of the seasoned pot of food to me. Oh, not quite there.
やっぱりか。ユウが作ってた料理の手直し、ちょっと難航しそうね。じゃあ、口直しにこっち。
Yeah, Remy made it look so easy. Oh, it's delicious. Was this meat soaked in sauce? Oh, what kind of sauce? It had a rather refreshing flavor that was quite tasty.
これなら大丈夫そうね。ユウ好みの味付けになってるみたいだし、よかったわ。
A sweet smile rose to her face. Nagiko. Perhaps this was the best possible outcome after screwing up our meal. Nagiko had a smile back too. And that was the first thought that came to mind.
ユウ、後片付けは私に任せて。
Nagiko said while collecting the dishes from our meal. No, you should sit down and relax. I'll take care of it.
ご飯をごちそうになったんだし、これくらいはさせて。
I'd say it was more of a group effort.
それでもよ。それに、こういうのってお嫁さんみたいな感じがして楽しいし。だから、ね。慣れない料理をして疲れただろうし。
Yeah, I get it. Something told me if she insisted this much, it would be better to let her have her way. It was also true that I'd worked up a sweat doing something so out of my comfort zone. More importantly, Nagiko was having fun tidying up. Alright, I'll go take a shower while I can.
了解。ゆっくりシャワー浴びてきて。
Nagiko saw me off with a beaming smile and nodded, and I briefly migrated back to my room. A change of clothes. I guess this'll do. I inadvertently muttered to myself after grabbing a brand new pair of underwear. No, there was no special meaning behind it being new underwear. It was meaningless, but I am alone with Nagiko right now. Wait, no. Don't. You can't. No weird thoughts. Even though this is definitely going to turn into a hate scene. It'd be surprising if it didn't, but there was nothing going on. I wasn't going to do anything. Just think about surfing. There's no point getting my hopes up. I'm here to encourage Nagiko, aren't I? Or so I thought.